Hello, my dear friends. Have you ever found yourself telling a friend a story about a conversation you had? When you do, you have a choice. You can either repeat the person's exact words, like an actor delivering lines in a play, or you can summarize what they said in your own words. In English, we have special names for these two ways of sharing information: direct speech and indirect speech. Understanding how and when to use them can make your conversations, stories, and writing much clearer and more engaging. So, let's take a friendly journey into the world of direct and indirect speech and figure it all out together. What is direct speech? Think of direct speech as a perfect word-for-word quotation. You are reporting exactly what someone said without changing a single thing. It's like you've recorded their voice and are playing it back. The most important rule for writing direct speech is to use quotation marks. These marks hug the speaker's exact words, separating them from the rest of your sentence. Let's look at how to form it. You usually have two parts: the words being said, and a small tag like "he said" or "Mary asked" that tells us who is speaking. This tag is called a reporting clause. Here are the common ways to set it up. The reporting clause comes first. She said, "I am going to the library." Notice the comma after "said" and before the opening quotation mark. The first word inside the quotes is capitalized. The reporting clause comes last. "I am going to the library," she said. This time, the comma comes at the end of the spoken words, but inside the closing quotation mark. The reporting clause after it is not capitalized. The reporting clause splits the sentence. "I am going to the library," she said, "to pick up a few books." This is useful for longer quotes. A comma ends the first part of the quote, and another comma follows the reporting clause before the quote continues. When should you use direct speech? You use it when the exact words matter. It adds life and personality to your writing. In stories, it helps us hear the characters' voices. In news articles or essays, it is used to quote a source accurately and lend credibility. It is powerful, immediate, and adds a touch of drama. Diving into indirect speech. Indirect speech, also known as reported speech, is when you report the meaning of what someone said without using their exact words. You are summarizing or paraphrasing. It is incredibly common in everyday conversation because it is often more efficient. For example, instead of saying, "My boss said, I need you to finish this report by Friday," you might just say, "My boss said that I need to finish this report by Friday." It flows more smoothly, right? But to change direct speech into indirect speech correctly, we need to follow a few important steps. It might seem tricky at first, but once you see the pattern, it becomes second nature. The 4 key changes for indirect speech. Remove the quotation marks and add that. The first step is easy. You get rid of the quotation marks. You then usually add the word "that" to connect the reporting clause to the reported words. Fun fact, in casual speech, you can often leave "that" out. Direct. He said, "I am happy." Indirect. He said that he was happy. Change the pronouns. The pronouns like I, you, we, my, your often need to change to reflect the new perspective. You are no longer the original speaker. Direct. She said, "I like my new car." Indirect. She said that she liked her new car. I becomes she, my becomes her. Direct. Tom said to me, "You can use my phone." Indirect. Tom told me that I could use his phone. You becomes I, my becomes his. Shift the verb tense backwards, backshifting. This is the most important rule. When the reporting verb, like said or told, is in the past, the verb tense in the reported sentence usually takes one step back into the past. Here's a handy guide. Present simple becomes past simple. Direct. I work in a bank. Dash indirect. He said that he worked in a bank. Present continuous becomes past continuous. Direct. We are playing football. Dash indirect. They said that they were playing football. Past simple becomes past perfect. Direct. I bought a new dress. Dash indirect. She said that she had bought a new dress. present perfect becomes past perfect. Direct. He has finished his homework. Dash indirect. I was told that he had finished his homework. Future will becomes would. Direct. I will call you tomorrow. Dash indirect. He said that he would call me the next day. Change the time and place words. Since you are reporting the speech at a later time, words referring to time and place also need to shift. Here are some common changes. Now dash then. Today dash that day. Yesterday dash the day before slash the previous day. Tomorrow dash the next day slash the following day. Here dash there. This dash that. These dash those. Example. Direct. She said, I am meeting my friend here today. Indirect. She said that she was meeting her friend there that day. Reporting questions and commands. The rules change slightly for questions and commands. For questions that can be answered with yes or no, we use if or whether. Direct. He asked, are you coming to the party? Indirect. He asked if I was coming to the party. For questions that start with words like who, what, where, when, or why, we use that question word but change the sentence structure from a question back to a statement. Direct. She asked, where's the post office? Indirect. She asked where the post office was. Notice the verb is moves to the end. For commands or requests, we usually use an infinitive verb to plus verb. Direct. The teacher said, please be quiet. Indirect. The teacher asked us to be quiet. Direct. Stop talking. The librarian ordered. Indirect. The librarian ordered them to stop talking. An exception to the rule, universal truths. One time you do not need to backshift the verb tense is when the statement is a universal truth or a fact that is still true. Direct. The science teacher said, the earth revolves around the sun. Indirect. The science teacher said that the earth revolves around the sun. It still does, so the tense stays the same. Choosing between direct and indirect speech. So which one should you use? Think of it this way. Use direct speech when you want to be precise, dramatic, or personal. It is like showing a photograph of a moment. It is perfect for telling a funny story where your friend's exact tone of voice was important, or for quoting an expert in an essay. Use indirect speech when you want to be efficient and keep the story flowing. It is like painting a picture of the moment from memory. It is great for summarizing conversations, giving updates, and weaving other people's ideas smoothly into your own narrative. Imagine your friend just won a trip to Hawaii. Using direct speech, I ran into Sarah, and she was jumping up and down. She grabbed my arm and yelled, I can't believe it. I just won a trip to Hawaii. The excitement in her voice was amazing. Using indirect speech, I ran into Sarah, and she told me with a lot of excitement that she had just won a trip to Hawaii. Both are correct, but they create a slightly different feeling for the listener. The first puts you right in the moment, while the second summarizes the news efficiently. In conclusion, both direct and indirect speech are vital tools in English. Direct speech gives us the raw, unfiltered words of a speaker, while indirect speech allows us to report those words in a way that fits our own narrative. By understanding the rules of how to form them and, more importantly, the feeling that each one creates, you can become a more skillful and expressive communicator. So go ahead, listen to the conversations around you, and practice telling stories both ways. You will be a pro in no time.